Good morning, friends. Welcome. So today I thought that I would jump back to the month of July and make a video using the Chips Galore stamp set from the Stamps of Life. So this was a card kit that came out back in July, but I just hadn't had a chance to really play with it. But the other day I opened it up and just started having fun with it, and I have come up with so many cards and I love them all. It's a really fun collection. So let's go ahead and switch cameras and take a look at what I've got for today. Alright, so here is the Chips Galore. This was the Die Hard and stamp set for July. Let me pull that out. We've got the idea cards here. Here's the Chips Galore set. Comes with a bowl of salsa that you can color up to be, it can be queso, it can be guacamole, it can be salsa. You could even make a soup if you wanted to. So there's all kinds of ways you can use that. It's got lots of fun little sayings about chips, nachos, and dip. And we've got lots of little chip designs here. We also have a little face and arms and legs, which we are going to use today. So put that over here. This was let's go through this was the die set, and you can make yourself like a little cookie tray or a sentiment box or all kinds of things there. You've got the little things here that you can make different colors of dip to put on the tips of your chip, and then several other chips here to choose from. So we've used a lot of those. Oh, and we also have nacho chips and potato chips. This was the secondary set that you could purchase to go with your Chips Galore set, and I did go ahead and buy that. I really liked some of the sayings in here, especially this one that says, "You're the dip to my chip." I thought that was clever. You've got Chip Happens if you've got somebody going through something. I thought that was kind of a cute way to say, sorry, you're having a rough time. When the chips are down, you can count on me, so that's kind of a nice saying. Life is better with you and a side of chips. So I've got a friend that would be perfect for, because nachos are her absolutely favorite thing to eat. So anyway, that's a cute set to add on. All right, let's set this aside. Let's take a look at some of the things that came in the card kit. We've got our pad of paper, which I loved the bright colors in the paper. This is the one that comes in the card kit, and this was one of my favorite things that came in the card kit. Specifically, it's the A1 corner card, but look at this fantastic, great, happy B-Day. I mean, that is a great die. I would purchase this die if it was sold separately, and it came in the card kit. I love that. I love the big chunky letters. It can be a focal point right on your card, so that was just a fantastic kind of add-on to be in your card kit. Then you've got this great saying that says "Chip Chip Hooray," and I love that. That's going to be the first one we use in our cards. It also came with a die that says "One of a Kind." I didn't end up using that in any of my cards today, but it is a very fun die. I love the font of it. It's definitely going to get used, but I didn't get to it yet for today's video. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the secondary sets that I pulled out to use with my Chips Galore. I always do this. I like to use what's in my stash, so if you have some of these, maybe it'll inspire you to pull them out. I like to use what's in my stash, not just the new things. So you will always find other things being pulled in if you like watching my videos. Okay, so I'm using the Piñata to stamp, the taco to stamp, and I have lost my idea card, and it makes me so mad. I looked everywhere for it. I hope it turns up. I'm using the sombrero and the two little side chips. I pulled one from way back. I've had this for years and years, but this one is called Polar Bear to stamp. I doubt that it's still available, but the reason I pulled him out is because of the way he's sitting, and I thought he looked perfect to go, he was big enough. You'll see when we get to that card, but any little critter or person or thing would do. You just need the size and the shape there to fit with your bowl. You'll see how we use him. I'm using this 3x3 die set, which I used the high part that came out of that, and then we are going to use the Fern Swirl stencil. Alright, set those things aside and let's get started. So like I said, I loved that Chip Chip Hooray. So on our first card we're going to use that. And I went ahead and I die cut the Chip Chip Hooray in red twice. and then backed it on white. For the color, the papers for this, I did a bright green 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and for this card, I chose this paper on purpose because my focal points are nice and large. So the focal points make it so it can handle this really busy, colorful background. And I loved that the little triangles on this kind of mimic the chip. So it goes along with the chip chip hooray. And for my focal point, I've cut 2 circles, one a little bit larger than the other, and then we have our bowl of salsa here and our salsa chip, and that is going to be our focal point, and then our chip chip hooray is going to go right above it. So I'm going to go ahead, layer these up. You know, I always like to start off with kind of a simpler card to get myself going, so this was the first one I made. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop these 2 things up. Here, I'm going to go ahead and put my circle down. Just going to center it there in the lower half of my card. And you'll see what I mean about the images being able to handle this, you know, kind of busy background. If you find yourself having trouble using the busier backgrounds, you might try this kind of tip. Is you want to have your focal point being larger if you're going to have a busier background. So that's just kind of a tip. Probably comes as obvious to some of you, but not everybody thinks the same way. So, all right, we got that right there. And also popping these images up is another way to kind of balance a busy background, is to have your focal points kind of pop up. I'm going to put my bowl right down here at the bottom of the circle. Did I get him straight? Come on now. Yeah. Don't want my bowl to be tilted. There we go. Okay. And now we'll add our chip, and I'm going to add it so it looks like whoever dipped it is pulling it up. So right there where it's got this little design, I'm going to have right here on the edge of the bowl, and then I'm going to put the chip chip hooray. All right, and there is our first card. Now, I may come back and add a little something right here. I'm not sure, but I really like that. And you can see how the focal points really balance that colorful, busy background. All right, for our next card is going to be where I pull in this fun polar bear. Now, I colored him up like he is more of a, you know, a brown bear or something. From our taco set, I made our bear a fun sombrero because why not? That's just fun, right? Also from our taco set, I've colored up some of those smaller chips, and I've made a big old bowl of queso. This is a piece of my leftover strip of paper from the first card that I turned over to be like a little, you know, placemat or something for him. And I cut a piece of blue cardstock here to be what we're going to add our stencil to. So grab my mat here. And I wanted this kind of to maybe look a little bit like a, you know, like a Mexican restaurant kind of feel to it. And I thought this kind of looked like the fun banners and things. Whoops, look, sorry, this staple went right through the stencil in there, so I got to pull that out. Must be the first time I'm using this one. There we go. Okay. And you know how those, the banners that they'll have like in, you know, I just thought this stencil worked well. But we're going to do a tone on tone. I'm just kind of centering my image there. Because I don't want it to be a focal point. I really just wanted to add a little more interest to the background. So I'm going to use this color right here. It's called Fiesta Blue. It'll be a little more turquoisey. And I don't want it to be super heavy. We're just going to do a tone on tone here to... I need to put my glasses on so I can see. And get started right here because I know that's going to be behind my bear. But I think this is going to work perfect for us. I don't have to go all the way down because my strip of paper here is going to be across the bottom. So. Okay, I think I've got it all. Let's raise it up there. Oh yeah, doesn't that look fun? Exactly what I was going for. Okay. That off. Set that aside as well. All right. I have chose the sentiment, Sorry I Was a Dip, because we've got our little bear here, and he's going to be dipping right into that fun bowl of queso. So one thing I was thinking about, and we can decide, or I can take a look at it here with you. Let's go ahead and put, oh, I should have put that piece on first, but I think I have it sized right, so I think we'll be okay. I'm pretty sure I already cut this to the size it needs to be. Yeah. Okay. All right. Doesn't that have like a fun kind of Mexican restaurant look? All right. So I'm thinking I'm going to set my bear right here. And one of the things I was thinking we could do is I could take my scissors and cut out his little arm and kind of slip the bowl up in it and put one of these little chips in his hand. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Because to do that, it might be kind of hard to get the size, you know, the bowl would have to be weighed out, you know. I don't know how well that's going to work out. I don't know. The other way of doing it is we can just set him behind the bowl, put the bowl right here, kind of add some chips down here at the bottom, and then the final touch, which really makes this card so cute, is his fun little sombrero. And then I do think we need to raise him up a bit. There we go. And then I was just going to put our sentiment on here beside him. Maybe, I don't know, maybe right up here. I don't know. So what do you think? I think he's super cute. So let's go ahead and get him started. I think... You want to go for it? Let's just go for it. Okay. I think that even if we decide we don't like it that way, we can always just go ahead and tuck his arm back behind, right? But let's give it a go. Let's see. I think I'll do it this way. I'm going to make just a little hole right there to get myself started with my scissors. And then I think I can just cut out his little hand a little bit. There we go. Come on now. Let me get those scissors in there. Okay. And I'm just cutting right along that black ink. That is his. Well, you would think that wouldn't be so hard, but it is. Okay. Do that again right here. Make myself another little place to put my scissors in, because I'm right-handed and I can't go that other direction. There we go. All right, there we go. We got his hand free. And to kind of doctor up those rough edges, I'm just going to trim around that a little bit. And then I'll come back with my black marker and kind of clean up that edge a little bit because my scissors were... Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to run my black marker mostly down the edge. Just to kind of... There we go. Okay. That'll be good enough. Now for the chip, I'm going to just kind of put it in his paw, just like this. I hope he turns out because he was super cute the way he was before and I don't want to mess him up. Alright. There we go. Oh, I think he looks cute with his chip in his hand. I think we're going to like it. Okay. Let's just set the bowl about right here. I'm eventually going to pop him all up, so I'm kind of just gluing all the pieces together over here on the side. That way we can get him positioned exactly where we want him. Okay. There we go. And the hat I will put on last, but this way we can get him sitting just right where we want him. If I hadn't glued this down, I could have tucked his feet so it almost looks like he's sitting behind the table instead of right on top of it, but that's okay. We're going to go with it. I don't think that's that big of a difference. So let's go ahead and add foam to him. But not on his hand. We want his little hand to be raised up, so... Now, I'm going to get a little tiny piece of thicker foam that I'm going to put behind his hand. That way his hand will be raised. Okay. Yeah, I think that's cute. Okay. Oops, that there, okay. And now we'll put on his sombrero. So today's video might be kind of long because I have so many cards. I think I have 7. Alright. I love this guy. Okay, just to kind of add a little more interest, I'm going to put a little pile of chips right down here on beside the bowl. Our bear is a messy eater. There we go. And like I said, my saying is sorry I was a dip. And I think we can just put it right over here to the side, kind of at an angle. And I'm just going to stamp that in my black. All right, there we go. Isn't he cute? Oh my goodness, this might be one of my favorites. I really love how it turned out. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And for the next one, I went with a guacamole theme. I've got my 2 sentiments here. A big old pile of guacamole pieces. And out of our piñata set, I colored up a fun star-shaped piñata and a couple little cactus. Then we've got lots of chips here. And we're going with a guacamole theme. So to go with our guacamole, I got some hot pink paper and a piece of lime green. Oh wow, this was green on this side too. I didn't even realize that. There we go. And if some of you are Copic colors, I'm going to share with you the colors that I used to color my chips. I was really happy with the way my chips turned out, so I'm going to share that with you. I didn't plan to color any, but I will show you the colors that I used. So for the darker edges, I used the YR24. Then I blended that with the YR21, and then where I wanted the lightest color, I used the Y32. And I kind of varied where I put the darks and lights, and that way I can kind of tilt them different directions and things like that. But I thought the chips turned out really well. So, all right, I'm going to put my star kind of right up here, my dip right down here. My cactus are going to be kind of in the corners. Chip going this way and a chip going that way, kind of here. I think I wanted them like this, kind of like this one's on his side more. Okay, all right, I'm going to glue them together so that I can put it all on all as one piece, kind of like I did before. And this one's going to go kind of right up here, so go ahead, and he's going to be the one that's dipping. Me about like right here, and let's see, do this pile about like this. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together. Oops. All right. Go ahead and add my foam. Now this little guy, I'm going to go ahead and glue him down so that there's a little bit of height difference. He's going to be kind of in the background. Yeah. One thing I was thinking that would be fun with these chips is to use a little bit of the crystal lacquer and make the dip kind of shiny. I thought that might be fun. I haven't done it yet, but I did think it would be a good idea. And then this one I'm going to put like this, so just the one. Let's see. Maybe I'll tuck it under. Yeah, I think I like it tucked under. Let's do it that way. So this part is not lifted up. All right, there we go. Now, for my star, I am going to go ahead and put some foam on this. There we go. I'm liking how this one's turning out. Okay, so on the front of this card, I'm going to make a little sentiment strip, and it's going to say, "Holy guacamole." And we're going to have the guacamole chip being dipped in as if he's just sticking right in there. Sorry, I put my foam a little too low. There we go. We're just going to stick him as if he's popped right there in that bowl. And then on the inside, it's going to say, "You are the dip to my chip," which is what motivated me to buy that extra set, because I really liked that saying. And my dip to my chip, which is my sweet husband, he is a guacamole lover, so I don't really give him, I'm grabbing a card base, they're up here in front of me, because I want to stamp on the inside as well. So grab a piece of white here, get my Misty, so when I'm making these videos, I gotta tell you, I'm just crafting along here for fun, and so it may get a little long because I don't have every single thing, like, I have them planned out, but I haven't, like, yeah, we'll just see. So I hope you'll hang with me and just have fun crafting. Hopefully you have a project you're coloring, and kind of like we're in the same room. We're just crafting together. So I grabbed some eucalyptus ink. I think that's going to match my guacamole pretty well. And we're going to go ahead and just stamp that out. There we go. Clean that off a bit. Now for the inside of my card, I'll just stamp that in black, and that way we won't have to do it 3 times. I think it's funny. It doesn't say "you're the chip to my dip." It says "you're the dip to my chip." So it's kind of like whoever you're giving it to is the dip, which I think is kind of funny. Maybe that's why it made me laugh. I don't know, but I think that's cute. Alrighty. So a lot of them I will put on card bases after the video. I won't have you watching me, but since I had a stamp to go on the inside of this one, I went ahead and planned to do the inside as well. Whoops, I forgot to stick down that. We'll add that when we add our sentiment. All right. And for my sentiment, just going to cut that off here on my paper trimmer. It's going to go right here. I do think since the bowl and everything's lifted up that that sentiment needs to be raised as well. And there you go. Holy guacamole. You're the dip to my chip. I think that's cute. So, okay, that's card number 2. Now, moving right along, our next card is I'm going to use this fantastic happy birthday in a nice bright blue. And you definitely want to hold on to the little hyphen that goes between the B and the day. And I've colored up some images from the piñatas to stamp. I have some bright yellow. Oh, that's from the next one. And I used this fun polka dot paper from our paper pack. I thought because my focal images has lots going on, that this white with the dots, it brought in the color, but it balanced well with all that I'm going to put on this card, because we're going to be loading it up. So I need to put my happy birthday with the Y and the H literally as far over as I can get it, because my piñata is going to be swinging right here in the corner. So it does take just a little bit to make sure I'm getting this down in the right place. Then I'm going to put one of my piñatas right over here, and then the other one is going to go kind of right down in here. So this is my plan for this card, and I'm going to have everything kind of laying out like this as I glue down, and I'm not popping any of this up. If I was doing this not on a video, I probably would pop things up, but for me to have to put foam on the back of all those letters, I think we would be here for a long time, and this video is going to be long the way it is, so we're just going to glue it down. Okay, now let's do our other star. And kind of like when you're masking, the things on the bottom, well, it's kind of the opposite of masking. With masking, you do what's on top, but I'm gluing these down first because they're on the bottom. But I could not resist using this great big happy birthday. I thought that I just love this. So I'm starting with putting the H right up there, as far up as I can, and then the Y over here as far as I can, so that that fits. Now I'm going to put my piñata in place. And he's going to be at an angle because he's swinging. Alright, and the last thing, I'm going to put a little glue right there. There's my little hyphen. Alright, card number 4. I think that's fun. Okay, so for this next one, I actually did something that I don't often do, but every now and then I do. I used the die cut from the paper pad. So the paper pad comes with sheets where you can use your dies and just cut them out. And I had colored lots of the bowls already, and I wanted to make more cards, so I just went ahead and die cut some. So I do have colored chips, and this is where I brought in that word high from that little square die set. I've got another chip here, and for my backgrounds on this one, I made a sorry, I'm out of the camera, aren't I? Here, let me move my stuff up. Okay. Here's my color palette. Here's everything I made for this card. And the high is actually going to go on the inside again. So let's go ahead and put this one all together. I really thought that the bowls worked well with ovals and circles because just of the shape. So I did like them on ovals and circles. So that's why I went oval. And also, using an oval makes it so you can see more of your background paper, where when I used the square frame, it just covered up too much of the background for me. So that's how I came to choose an oval for this card. My high is actually going to go on the inside, and I'm going to set my chip like this. My other two chips are going to be kind of off here to the side. And then this saying says, Oh, there it is. Just dipping by to say hi. And I thought that would look really super cute right there. All right, so that is the layout for this one. And I think I'm just going to glue them all down. I was looking all over for my glasses, and they were on top of my head. I have truly turned into my grandma. But that's okay with me, because my grandma was one of my favorite people in the whole world, so I am honored to turn into my grandma. And I hope my grandkids love me as much as I loved my grandma. I think they do. Grandkids are just the best, aren't they? All right, so I like to glue them all together so I can put them on all as one. Gonna kind of position it so that my bowl is working with the oval. His little side is kind of right there coming up with the oval. Down. And I'm just going to stamp this in black so it'll stand out well. Everything was stamped in black, so it's okay to, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Okay. All right, very nice. And this is another one that I'm going to go ahead and put on its card base because we're going to put that fun blue high on the inside. And on this one, I didn't put a white frame around it because I really didn't want to lose any more of that fun chip bag background, which I thought really added to this whole card. So putting a really thin layer here of glue because I don't want it to ooze out and glue my card shut. So just right about here. All right, there we go. So it gives you plenty of room to write a message. But loving how that one turned out as well. Aren't these just great cards, or great products to make so many fun cards? I'm serious, I made 7, but I could have kept going. All right. Now this next one is another one that I used the cutout paper. Now I don't have this die set, so I did have to fussy cut these. And it's going to go on a white background, I believe. So layer up our layers. And this is the one that we're going to use the little face and the arms and legs as if he's just kind of jumping up and running off. In fact, I just had a great idea. This may be the card that on the inside I use the die one of a kind and put that on the inside because he's the one chip that's getting up and running off. Like these other chips are just regular chips, but he's one of a kind. Kind of like that. This one of a kind paper. Okay. So our chips are going to go off to the side, our circle's going to go right here, and our chips are going to go right down here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on my chips so that I can get it positioned on my circle right where I want it. Okay? Because this chip is going to be standing up. So let's go ahead and grab our stamp set. And, whoops, wrong one. Get the little arms and legs. Okay, so let's do the little face first. Take that off, okay. And it's almost like they left a little place for us to put the eyes and the mouth. There we go. Okay. So now that I have his legs on, I'm going to go ahead and glue him in place so I get the arms in the exact right place. Or at least try to get the arms in the exact right place. There we go. Yeah, this is this arm. And this arm. There we go. Oh, I think he's so cute. All right, got it. I was a little bit nervous about doing that on camera because, you know, the potential for screwing it up is very high. So let's decide how we want this. We can kind of position it like this so it's all together. I kind of like that. So I'm just going to lift up the edge here, put a little glue in the places where it needs to go. Hold that all down. I do think I need to make a circle to go around the back. What do you think? No, I think on the paper it looks pretty good. I thought this needed like a yellow outline, but it fits really well on the paper. So let's go ahead and add just a big bunch of foam. And this will be easy because I can use great big pieces. I ran out of my really wide stuff, but it's all right. Maybe do this in 2 sections. All right. I'm just going to center it. All right, now I think I am going to come back and die cut our die one of a kind and put this on a card front and put the one of a kind on the inside, because I might end up putting like a little speech bubble or something like him saying hi, but I'm not going to put like a big sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one done for now. Now our very last card is a super easy one because I'm going to utilize the puffy stickers. And it's a similar design to this one, but it's with the nachos. So I've got my 2 puffy stickers that are the nachos. I made myself a small framed area. And this one says, "We have the best friendship." And I'm going to use this bright paper in the background. And this will be our last card for today. And this is another one, kind of like the first one, where this more busy, colorful background, I think, works well on this card because of our, you know, focal point here being nice and large. So I'm going to set my chip bag right over here. And our little walking, talking nacho chip is going to be right here. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp, we have the best friend chip. There we go. I think that's a cute one. It's easy, but it's cute. Now, in the card kit, it came with these fun little dots. And I kind of considered putting some on here. But I decided with the striped background, it made it a little busy for me. So it also came with these, but I didn't think the color was right for that. So I decided I'm just going to leave it like this. But I did think through kind of adding some more stuff to this, but I ended up deciding no in the end. So, okay, let's go ahead and take a look at everything that we made together today. Kind of clear the area. Okay, we've got We're the Best Friend chip. Very cute. Our one of a kind. Just dipping by to say hello. There's a great happy birthday card. Holy guacamole, you are the dip to my chip. And then one of my favorites here, sorry I was a dip. And chip chip hooray. So I had so much fun creating these cards. If you haven't busted out your July card kit yet, I encourage you to pull it out and give it a go. And definitely the secondary sets that you can pick up to go with this, I think that eventually I'm going to have to pick up the sets that give you the chip bag. So I'm going to have to keep my eye on those and get me that as well, because I have lots more ideas to use this. So thank you so much for joining me today. I, as always, look forward to crafting with you again very soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.